Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We'll wait for 5 minutes before we start just to make sure everyone joins in. Hi, so I'm just checking if everyone can hear us. If you can hear me, can you please drop in a yes on the chat? Okay, great. Thanks. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to today's webinar. My name is Pranita and I'll be your host for the day. Today we have with us Mr. Mohit Gupta, who is the founder of Investable FinTech, which develops analytical tools and softwares related to stock market trading and investing. Intraday Screeners is one such tool which helps traders to select stocks for intraday trading and swing trading with ease. Mohit Gupta is a Birla Institute of Technology Pilani alumni. He initially worked as a software engineer for 7 years before founding Investable. He has over 8 years of experience trading and investing in Indian stock markets. He's a discretionary trader who trades mostly trend following trading strategies. Investable also has a YouTube channel with more than 200K subscribers. They put out video content that deals with the trading and investing in stock funds, futures, options, etc. In today's session, we will understand to learn intraday trading using support and resistance. Over to you, Mohit.
Hey guys, can you hear me? Am I audible? Can someone please
Yes, you are.
confirm if they can hear me? Okay, okay. So a couple of people are saying that they're not getting the voice, so I just wanted to be double sure. Okay, I think people can hear me. Just give me 1 minute. I'll share my screen, so I hope everybody can see me. Just let me know once you can see my screen also. So I am unable to share my screen. So can you just allow me screen sharing? Okay, great. Okay, I hope everybody can see my screen, right?
Yeah.
Okay, just give me 1 more minute. Okay. Okay, fine, guys. So we'll start. So in this webinar, we will talk about key how we can use support and resistance to trade stocks while intraday, and also swing trading, because support and resistance basically is a universal concept. So same concept can be used for trading stocks, and this is the most basic concept. But still, a lot of people, a lot of new traders don't know support and resistance and how to use support and resistance to trade stocks. So in this webinar, we will have a look at that. So is my screen visible to everyone? Can everybody see my screen? Okay, so can everyone see the slide?
Yeah, we can.
Okay, great. Okay, fine. So let's start. So let's understand by what is actually meaning of support and resistance. So first we will take talk about the agenda. So we'll understand what is support and resistance, and what is importance of support and resistance, and then we'll see how we can use this support and resistance level to trade effectively, right? So this is the overall agenda for the day, and we will also go through Intraday Screener, and we'll see how we can use Intraday Screener, and we'll use some pre-made scans to directly trade into your Dhan account, right? So we will start with like what exactly we'll see. So we will use Intraday Screener tool to basically filter stocks, and then we will trade the stocks directly on your Dhan account. Obviously, you will do it in live market, and we will trade it directly using your Dhan trading account from Intraday Screener. We will execute orders along with risk management and money management, right? So we will go through this. Okay, so first of all, let's go back to our slide. So, what is support and resistance? So, let's try to understand key what is support and resistance. And if you guys are, if you have any questions or any doubt, you can just keep on typing questions. If I see something, I will answer it immediately. Or if it is not important, I will keep it on the end of that. Not important as in like not related to what I'm speaking at that point of time. Then I'll keep it for the end of the session. Okay. So, what is meant by support? So the first question is like, what do you mean by support? So support is a level at which stock price actually stops falling further and starts to bounce back from it. So support is a level on chart. On the chart, on the it's a level where demand is excess of supply, right? So simple as that. So support is a level at which stocks falling further. So if I would like to show you, so let's say some stock is falling, 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 and at point of time it makes a reversal. So we can say, okay, this is the price where the stock has found a support level. Now, this particular level can be n number of levels, because there are so many ways to find out supports, or so many different ways to see how support works, right? So, there are n number of ways, but the price or the level from which the stock makes a bounce or U-turn and sort of like changes the current turn. Maybe it is a short-term trend or maybe it's a long-term trend. We will see different type of support and resistance. That is called support, right? And similarly, when a stock is moving upside and it has a point where sellers are in excess of buyers. So it's just like there are so many sellers that the buyers are satisfied with whatever stocks they need. And then from there, a reversal of the price comes that is called a resistance level. So as simple as that. So resistance level is a point on chart, on the price chart, where your supply exceeds demand. So as simple as that, right? So in here also you can see, so in the past the price moved up from this level, so this level will start acting as support. So whenever the next time the price comes to this level, right, there the price will have a bounce back. Why? Because there were people who were ready to buy. How this support is formed is totally different thing, which again, like if you want to understand in very short term, I can say that okay, it is a collective response of all traders to the price at this point of time. All traders or investors, whatever, because see, market participants is not just traders, it is also investors, though traders are more than 90% of the active constituents. But big amounts are traded mostly by investors, mutual funds, FIIs, who keep the stocks for whole term, and that cause trading moves. So here, for example, if you see, right, so this is a point at which, let's say, somebody was accumulating the stock, and then when the price goes up and falls again to that level, now people know, okay, this is the point from which last time there isn't supply came. So if they wait and they see, okay, the stock is finding some maybe a reversal candlestick pattern here, so they will understand, okay, the support is intact, and since support is again respected, so traders usually take position. So that is a simple thing of support. So support is a level where demand is supposed to come, right? And similarly, resistance is a level where supply is supposed to come, and they were when the stock price reaches resistance, you don't actually take a new long trade. You wait for either a breakout, okay, this resistance level, the stock comfortably trades or maybe consolidates around this level and trades above this. So what you do is you simply wait for reversal and take short positions. So support is basically where you sort of like expect the stock to reverse when it is falling and buying emerge, and resistance is the point where you expect selling emerge. So one very important thing which we need to take care while dealing with support and resistance is that there is a concept like support becomes resistance and resistance becomes support, right? So what is that concept? So that concept says that, so for example, see, let's say the stock is moving and here it founds a level, right? Now it goes again, and it breaks down this level. So now this point was a support level, correct? The stock was finding a support here. At this point of time, we figured out that the stock broke the support level. So whenever a stock broke support level, it meant that whatever buyers were there at this point of time, they were satisfied, and now more sellers are available at this price point, psychologically speaking, right? And when the price moves up and then there is a pullback, so immediately this level, which was earlier acting as a support level, will now act as resistance level. Why? Because all the buyers are satisfied already at that point of time. There are not more buyers technically. Why? Because earlier same thing happened, right? So, so in simple terms, what you have to consider is whenever there is a resistance and it is broken and then stock bounce back, and that will act as a natural support level, and we call it like pullback entry or pullback retest entry. And similarly, when a stock is falling as support level is broken and the stock bounces back up, and this is again, if we short it at this point of time, this is called a pullback entry and this is called a retest level. So this is a simple concept like support becomes resistance and resistance becomes support, which is very, very important, and everybody should understand it, right? Now how to identify this support and resistance level? ये चार्ट पे हम कैसे आइडेंटिफाई करेंगे कि ये चार्ट पे क्या सपोर्ट है, क्या रेजिस्टेंस है, in different time frames where we are going to trade, right? So what is support level, what is resistance level? So there are so many supports and resistance level. The most common support and resistance. So again, before this session, let me have some basic things. Let me tell you a few basic things, very basic things, that like how do price moves. You have to understand how do price moves, right? So price movement is nothing but collective response of all traders or investors or all the fund houses or everyone. In broadly speaking terms, this is a collective response of all the market participants, right? So now when they believe at that point, particular point of time, that particular price or that particular level, it is a good level to entry, and from here stock can bounce. So let's say there are 1,000 people in the market, and let's say 900 people believe, okay, this is the price where we are currently at this point. There is some buying that may happen. Like, let's say if, in simple terms, let's say there are 1,000 people in the market. I go to everybody, I say them, okay, boss, this is the level where buying will come, buy it. And if those 900 people start to buying at this level, then price will 100% bounce back, right? So that is how the price moves. Like, it's a collective response of all traders to what they think, or what they think at that price, whether it is a value buying or whether the buying may emerge. And when they respond, they take action like buying or selling, and then price movement happens. So these support and resistance levels should be those levels where trader or investor or anyone feels that, okay, this is a good entry levels. So now this support and resistance levels may, the key thing is the most used support and resistance level will be those levels from where actually the buying will emerge. Though there will be some fake breakouts or fake breakdowns, but still the key point is key, the most used levels will be those levels where actually some action will happen. See, because you can see on the chart, right? On any chart you can see, okay, if a stock has for example, so a very simple terms of like support and resistance is this line which you can see. So uh, you can see the price was taking support, broke down, and then retested, and then again breakdown, right? Then again, this is the level that price has taken support. Very simple example. I'm just taking some random chart, and then uh, it is coming here. From here again, bounce back happens. So you can clearly see this throughout the charts, and everything that support and resistance is respected on all the charts, right? So very simple thing. So now, like, which support or which resistance levels are there? So there are different support and resistance level. There are price specific levels, there are static levels, there are dynamic levels. So we have to focus on what most traders use. And how will we know what most traders use? Is we can actually see price action happening there, right? Suppose, let's say somebody comes and tell you, okay, no, this like 28 moving average is the holy grail of moving average, and you have to always trade on 28 moving average, right? But when you open that when you plot that moving average on chart and you don't see any action happening, then what is the use of that moving average, right? So there may be a lot of times like you may see, okay, this is exclusive moving average that will work, and also moving averages are designed to be like any combination will work, because that is like the basic theory behind moving average, like if you understand more of stats, right? So it's not that like you have to find that unique thing which nobody else uses. It's just that you have to understand at what point most users will start to take entry or start to take exit. That is the point where you have to take entry and you have to take exit, because you have to trade with the herd mentality. So obviously in investing it's a bit different. You don't have to buy with the herd mentality. Like in investing, everybody's buying a stock, so I buy the stock. But in trading it is like that. Why? Because you have to wait for the price movement, and the price movement will come when everybody will start buying, right? It is not that you have to buy it. There's level where nobody else is buying. Let's say you want to start buying here. Why? Because I feel some XYZ moving average is test. No. So it is like that. So now coming back to, so basically that I told you something very like crucial to trading. You have to understand, like you have to buy at those levels where most of the traders are likely to come in, and you have to sell at those levels when most of the traders are likely to exit, right? Because that is how the price will behave. So different type of supported levels are there in stock market. I will tell you about the most common used one and how you can find out. So again, so one more subjective thing is there. Like every person has a different rate. So even every stock has some individuality, right? Depending on what stock it is. Let's say if I talk about Tata Motors, right? So let's say if I talk about Tata Motors, right? So if I open Tata Motors chart and see the support and levels on Tata Motors charts, let's say I'm on daily time frame, right? So I will see the support and levels of resistance levels of Tata Motors chart, and I will see how this is behaving. Now this may have a different behavior and different compared to, let's say, Somani Home Ceramics Limited. Okay, any other stock, it may have different like movement. Why? Because again, as I told you, it is a collective response of all the traders. So I know that Tata Motors is a heavily traded stock. There are so many people who are actually trading stocks, which includes FII, DII, and a lot of traders. While Somani Home is a fairly illiquid stock, volume you can see is not pretty much in this counter. So this may not respect technicals. So again, the thing is like you also have to have positions in those stocks in intraday while trading where most of the traders are active, because they will decide whether you win or lose, right? If you enter in some illiquid stock and then somebody comes and dumps like 10,000 shares, then you are gone, right? And also like those levels will not come, because as I told you, right? So let's say I tell in years of all the 10,000 traders that okay, you have to buy shil above this level, then they will do that action, right? But otherwise they will not do. So similarly, what you have to understand is like different support and resistance will work in different stocks, and it is up to you to decide what is going to work by observing what actually is happening on the stock. Whether, so let's say if I'm talking about pivot level, so I will just plot here pivots, standard pivots, right? So just give me 1 minute. I will just pivot points on Dhan platform. So I've opened Dhan chart. So I will just remove the CPR and I will go to pivot point standard. So again, pivots are a standard support and resistance level, which is fairly used by a lot of traders. Okay. So I will plot till 3. Okay. So you can see, we can see here the pivots are being plotted. So I will go to 15-minute time frame, because when we trade intraday, we'll take smaller time frames, most likely 5 minute and 15 minute and not more than that. Why? Because uh, those are the time frame which is used for intraday trading, right? Because we focus on small movements during the day movements, and we should not be focusing more on very higher time frame. Apart from the fact that let's say on daily time frame there is a 200-day moving average at particular level, right? So even in intraday, if that level is touched, for example, I will show you simple example. So FL India is the chart, right? So usually you see a lot of FIIs and a lot of buying and selling comes in on based on the closing prices of the stock. So let's say if you see, right, so there was a big up move in FL India. So I'm just telling you for this example purpose. So there was a big reversal in FL India, and there is like 200-day moving average and 20 exponential moving average. So usually when the price closes above 200 DMA after let's say 5 or 6 candles, or maybe whatever time is there, not just like subsequent candle, or after 20 EMA, then usually what happens is lot of EOD scans and lot of investing algorithms will catch this stock, right? And there are a lot of people who don't want people to enter this stock. So what they deliberately, or big houses who are accumulating this stock, they want to make sure that the stock closes below that level. So if you see, right, so it went up, and in the last moment, usually, so let's say if I go to 15-minute chart and I see here, so you can see if I open that 15-minute chart, you can see at the last moment, this is the exact level. There is a big sell off happened in the last candle, so that the closing price was taken below that level. So that again is a resistance level, and as I told you on daily time frame, it was a resistance level. So when I enter the stock and when it does this level, so this is a point where you are likely to, it's likely that you should take your book your positions. Obviously there may be some times where this resistance is broken and the stock moves forward, but it is in your favor, risk reward is in your favor if you enter or exit that stock, right? So why? Because the price action is likely to come from here, and it's an already you can see, right, what I talked about. So these levels were certainly levels from where some supply was coming, and when finally it was broken along with 200-day moving, this blue line is 200-day moving average. So what color code and what four uh, indicators I use is 20 exponential moving average, 50 exponential moving average, 100 exponential moving average, and 200 exponential moving average. These are the four I use mostly for trading. And the reason is like after all my research, I figured out that these are the four which has a lot of price action. Obviously, there are some other indicators also. Some people use 9 EMA and all. Also in RSI calculation of MACD it is used. So they are also important. But as I told you, right, you have to stick to the moving averages or stocks where most price action is likely to happen, or traders are collectively responding to that, right? So this is what I figured out is responding to most of the stocks. Obviously in some stocks some other algo may be in place which is like only buying at like 35 moving average, right? Whenever 35 moving average does, it starts buying, so that will respect 35 moving average. And that when you observe the chart, you will actually understand why, because price action will happen at those support levels. So whether that support or resistance levels are important or not is simply you can figure out by seeing the chart and seeing whether price action is happening. So I may tell you that 200 DMA is important, but unless you see the price action happening at the confluence here where 200-day moving average and 20 EMA both are there, so it is a breakdown and then retest and then again a like a pullback happened, right? So unless this is happening, you cannot be sure that is happening. But this is happening, so I can say that this is happening. But if I plot some XYZ moving average, I will not see it happening, right? So that is the reason, like why I told you that these levels are important. So I can see, okay, at 200 DMA, this point, so a breakout happened, then pullback happened, then again from movement happened, then again a touchdown happened, and then again from there some movement happened. Then again you can see the level lines that I plotted there, you can see actually price actions is happening, right? Most of the reversal or movements are coming from those points, 200 DMA or 100 S, whatever I plotted. So I can say, okay, yeah, that works in FL India at least. Why? Because it's a trader, like trader trades discounted, though liquid is not that much, liquidity is not that much. Similarly, other stocks also. Right. So right now I'm taking 200 this time frame of 1 day. So again, we'll not be using this 1 day time frame. I'm just explaining you the concept. Why? Because in 15 minutes there will be some noises, but in higher time frame, definitely the moving averages and important support and resistance are respected. Right. Very well. So coming back to 15-minute time frame of Tata Motors. So now you can see the thing that I was talking about regarding support and resistance. So I will just plot the lines of reversal. So you can exactly see, okay, the movement is happening at those levels, right? Breakout, then pullback. So I have just taken a random Tata Motors chart. Like I have not seen that I'm going to take. So if you take any chart, you will find out these levels, and you can understand whether it is happening. Now, which moving averages to use? So again, see, there are different type of support and resistance. One is like price based, price action based, which is very, very important, most important. So which is like where actually you see the reversal happen. So if you see reversal happen at this point, you draw a line, you see actually reversal has happened from this point also. Correct. Here is the most your favorable risk to reward ratio, which is happening. So here was a resistance point, a breakout happened, then a pullback happened, retest happened, and then again further breakout happened. This was the entry point, and then the targets were on upside. Obviously, they will correct because it's an intraday time frame. So you have to have your risk management and profit and take profit and stop loss, everything systems to be in place. But that is the whole concept of trading with support and resistance, right? So you have to have this like price supports, pivot supports, and then moving averages, different moving averages that are trading with supports and resistance. Okay. Okay. So now somebody has asked, like I'll take that example question. Why support exists? How demand is generated on the strike price? What is the relation to CPR? So why support exists is again like it is, as I told you, right? Nobody plays the support there. It is a collective response of traders, and we know from the past, like at this level the price has moved up. So definitely, who moved the price? Somebody would have found, okay, at this level Tata Motors, he had to accumulate, right? So whenever price went to this level, there may be people who thought last time, okay भाई ये रैली तो मिस हो गई मेरे से, last time ऐसे हुआ था, अभी यहाँ पे perfect level पे आ रहा है, will enter this, right? So there are people who will think, okay, the same history what has repeated from that level will repeat. Some people will find, okay, from above this much is corrected, now it's a good time to enter, and this is perfect entry level. So it's again, so whenever stock price, investors will think of investing, traders will short, people who have shorted will think of short covering, and people who have missed the whole movement will think of re-entering, right? So all these will collectively lead to a point from where the price will start to move forward, and that is the point where support is formed. It's as simple as that, right? And next time again, same thing from there, since prices already moved, other people will think, that is the basis of technical analysis, right? That the patterns and prices keep on the collective response what traders have done in the past will repeat in future. So since everybody has bought at that point, it's more likely that they buy at that point. But again, as I told you, if somebody who is selling like crores of Tata Motors share, definitely it will fall from here, right? So in that case, you have a stop loss in place. But where is it most likely that you are going to benefit from the trade is this point where your risk to reward is very favorable, right? So that is the whole point of taking a trade at these levels. So there is some problem with my video, guys. Excuse me. I'll turn it on in few some moment. Okay. So, and somebody has mentioned about what is relation to CPR. So CPR is again, see, one of the indicators which acts as support and resistance, like central pivot range. So that is again one of the concept of trading, and why it will work we'll cover maybe in some other webinar. but as of now we'll not cover that. So I hope you can so that is again a different form of trading strategy, and that is also based on volatility. Like whenever volatility contraction is there, there will isn't volatility expansion, right? It is based on that simple concept. Now, how do we track for these stocks which are like moving at important support or resistance levels, and how we trade effectively these stocks, right? That is the next part. So again, but before that, I will cover like what are the important support and resistance that you can use in trading. One is pivot levels. Pivot levels, as I told you, are intraday levels, which again are theoretical levels. And why should it work? Is there is no explanation to this. Why this price moved up while and when the Tata Motors were retracing, why it exactly took support at R3 and then bounce, why this was the most probable entry level. Whenever a stock is going down, why S3 becomes or S2 or these pivot levels become more important levels, why they become. There is no actually explanation why, because if I, as I told you, right, if I go and tell in eyes of 1,000 traders which are in the years of 1,000 traders, if I tell them, okay boss, if the stock comes back at R3, you buy it, they will buy it, right? So that is why, because since price action is happening, that means people are trading on it, and since everybody is trading, it keeps on working. If people will stop using it, the price action will stop happening it, and then people will not use it. All the algos and everything will see, okay, the this thing is not working, and they will stop using it, and then it will go down. But right now it is working, right? From so many days it is working. So in intraday, pivot is one of the support and resistance. But again, the next thing that is very important is regarding support and resistance that you should know, and it is very, very important with respect to support and resistance. So it is just analogous to what you can say is while you are driving a car, right? So so let's say this is a road and this is a speed breaker, right? So you can call it like this is a speed breaker in trading, right? Resistance is a speed breaker. So usually you slow down at speed breaker, right? And then you, when that speed breaker is overcome, then you again accelerate, right? So what if I tell you this is a speed breaker, then after just 1 second there is one more speed breaker, and then there is this one more speed breaker, correct? Then what do you do usually? It's not like when you cross the speed breaker, you suddenly accelerate and go above that. Why? Because you know there are other speed breakers. So same is the concept with support and resistance. So if you see on the chart, maybe in different time frames or maybe in the same time frame, there are multiple resistance available and they are very near to each other. We usually wait for that all those resistance to be overcome and then we take trade. Why? Because as I told you, right, you cannot accelerate, traders cannot buy because somebody will be using these different resistances, correct? Similarly, at supports level, if there are multiple supports, 3 or 4 supports at one point, then if the price is falling, it is highly likely that a bounce will come from this point rather than only one point. So when we are trading, then definitely this may be R1, like intraday pivot resistance. But let's say, right, and then some movement came, reversal came from here. But let's say if it is on one hourly time frame, it is 200-day moving average also, or let's say on daily time frame, it is 20 EMA also. Then this is even more important for reversal. Correct. Why? Because that is the whole concept of confluence of indicators or support or resistance. So we usually prefer to take long positions when there are multiple support existing at that point, not only price action support. Correct. So that is the one very important thing while trading with support and resistance, that you have to not just focus on one support or resistance. It's not that I have told you that these are the pivot levels. Now you start blindly using pivot levels. Why? Because pivot levels is fail because the concept that I told you. It is a very natural concept, right? If it is a speed breaker, you will not just accelerate. You will wait for all those four to go, then you will accelerate. Similarly, for some traders, this may be the resistance, this may be the resistance, this may be the resistance, this may be resistance. So you have to wait for that. So the key thing using support and resistance, if I tell in summary, is identify on all major supports and resistance. Okay, you have to identify all major supports and resistance, and then you have to buy when the stock is at a support where major supports are there, and you have to book profit at resistance. Right? So buy at supports and sell at resistance. This is one strategy. Second is when resistance is broken, wait for pullback, and then when retest is confirmed, then take an entry. This is second strategy. So there can be multiple strategies based on support and resistance. So now, as I told you, there are so many support and resistance, right? So how do you find which is the support and resistance that you have to use? Correct? so many support resistances I've told you. So okay, so is everybody here? I'm sorry, there was some power failure. So can you hear me, guys?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, so now we'll go to IntradayScreener. So IntradayScreener is a tool that we have developed which helps you in trading. So here you can see that there is a scan under intraday which is called support and resistance levels, and you can use the support and resistance levels to find all the different support and levels to in trading in different time frames. So we have used 5 and 15 minute which can be used for intraday, and then again there is 1 day time frame which can be used for daily time frame, right? So you can use intraday screener for that. Simply you have to log in to intraday screener with your dhan account. You can log in on the home page, so and then you can use this intraday screener support and resistance. So now, for example, here we can find out those stocks which are actually above resistance. So usually in intraday what we do is like we prefer to take stocks which are above R1 levels. Why? Because they have broken the first resistance. And as I told you, first resistance is broken, then they will head for next resistance. Right. So that is point where we have to trade. But again, as I told you that there can be multiple speed breakers. So we have to make sure that when you take a trade, the next speed breaker is far away. So there is a scope for acceleration, right? That is the key thing. So you have to take trades when there is no resistance after your the support after entry. After your entry, there are no further resistance in near vicinity. So you have to find those stocks. Now, doing so may be tough. Why? Because there are so many charts, so many time frames that you have to reverse. Obviously, algos and machines do it better way. Why? Because it can be calculated in real time. For example, in our app, we calculate so many resistance and supports, and then we figure out such stocks, right? So similarly, you can see here. So there is pivots S1, S2, S3, R1, R2, R3, and then there are most important support and resistance, which is VWAP, which is volume weighted average price, ADX, RSI are some indicators, then 20 EMA, 100 SMA, 200 SMA, all these levels are there. So you can see whether the stock is above that level, it will be in green, otherwise it will be in the red section, right? If the stock is below that. So you can clearly see from this visual representation only, okay, I can see that Ashok Leyland is above all the key levels, right? In 5 minute time frame or 1 day time frame or something, and we can trade accordingly. So in 15-minute time frame, let's say I'm trading on intraday, so I can see, okay, this stock is below all the important levels, and you see it is actually negative Concor, right? And it is below S1, S2, S3. So these are the shorting candidates for me. And if it is above R1, these are buying. So simple thing, we have to apply filter. We can apply filter. We can go in the market at 9:15 a.m. We can find the stocks which is LTPs above R1. We'll find the stock. So right now, since like this webinar is on weekend, I cannot demonstrate you in live market, but this is a general procedure that you will follow. You have to go in the market and you have to find the stocks which are above R1. So once you have the list of above stocks above R1, the key thing is like you should be able to see all the charts, but it's not possible to see in real time. So you have to figure out, okay, which are the my focus area, where should I focus more, right? So there are some additional things which are given here where you can see these green things here happening. So these are important, the important levels. So these are the important support or resistance levels. So whenever the stock is trading above these levels, usually the stock's trend is well good, right? So if it is above green levels in 15-minute charge, 20 EMA, 100 SMA, 20 SMA, it's a good, everything is good. RSI, you have to just check that it is not overbought, like over 70 or something. So again, you can filter out these conditions. But the key thing is like whatever stocks these stocks 7%, 5% are doing, so either they have gapped up. If they have not gapped up, they have done that in intraday and they have crossed R1. So you can just put a condition LTP above R1 and you can find out those stocks. And then whenever the stock starts appearing, so in the live market, as soon as the stock starts appearing, it will keep on changing. This list will keep on increasing, and then you can actually filter based on other criterias using this, like if it is above 20 EMA also, 100 SMA also, 20 SMA, is well and good, you can take trade, but you have to take trade above R1. So this is the first thing, how do you find these stocks? Next thing is what else do you see, right? R1 के ऊपर तो बहुत सारे स्टॉक आते हैं, कई तो फेल भी हो जाएंगे, अब यहाँ पे मैं कैसे ट्रेड करूं? So there are so many other things that you need to check, which are again general to trading, is structure of the stock. So you can see the volume, that is very important thing. So I will also apply in filter, let's say the volume of the stock is greater than 20, and since I will be running this around 9:30, 9:40, that is the reason I'm adding just 20, because 20% of yesterday's, मतलब अगर आज 100 वॉल्यूम ट्रेड हुआ तो कल का केवल 20 वॉल्यूम, मतलब आज का वॉल्यूम जो है वो कल का 20% हो चुका है, कल 100 वॉल्यूम ट्रेड हुआ तो आज 20 हो गया in less than 15 or 20 minutes, right? So depending on time frame, because again we are dealing with intraday, so 100, so this is 508 times 508% volume. मतलब अशोक लेलैंड में कल का जो वॉल्यूम था, let's say 100 was the volume total yesterday, today it is 508 volume, right? So it is a 508% jump in volume, right? But it is end of the day, you don't know, in when you trade at 9:30 am, you don't know, right, how much is the percentage jump, right? That for that you have to see that, okay, by 9:30 if you are there, or 9:40 you are there, so you should not see for volume more than 25% or 30% of yesterday's volume. Even 25% volume happening in less than like 30 minutes is actually big volume, right? Because abhi to pura din bacha hai. You can just think of extrapolating it. So you can sort this list above R1 by volume simply. Just sort this by volume. And then you can, since these are FNO stocks, additionally, you can also check the option open interest. So this is specifically for people who are trading in futures and options only. And I will not be covering this in this webinar at least, but you can see how option chain is looking like, where the supports and resistance coming from option chain, and what is the option chain saying, whether call unwinding along with put writing is happening, right? Above the prices, important strikes or important not strikes. See, again somebody asked me whether strikes are important. Strikes is not important, level are important, and usually strikes people select which are closest to important support levels, right? That is why those strikes become important. So then you can verify. So you have to find stocks which are above R1 and volume is good. So volume is key thing. So you have to have volume. That is very, very important things. If you are going in stocks without volume, then you are definitely not going to make money in intraday. You have to have eye on volume, right? Volume should be high. And then there are some other things, like as I told you, stocks which are trading above VWAP are good stocks. Then 20 EMA, 100 SMA, 200 SMA, you can check. Okay, trend is intact, right? And then you can check RSI also, which is a oversold or overbought indicator. Usually whenever RSI in sweet spot, like let's say above 40 or something, then it indicates, okay, on 15-minute time frame there is a strength emerging. But these are the important key resistance levels or support levels which we can figure out using this chart. Okay, that Hind Copper is fine, HAL is fine, JK Cement is fine, right? We can see from this stock only when it goes above R1. Again, remember, we will not take trade when it is at R3 or R4, though it becomes even more stronger if the stock crosses R3. But we will not take trade. Why? Because risk reward is not favorable there, right? So this is the first step. You have to find stocks. So you have to filter stocks above R1, then see the volume, see the OI, see the different support and resistance level that I have explained you. Pivots you have obviously seen. You can also confirm the oversold over like strength using RSI and see if it is not overbought while you are buying, it is not above 75 or something like that, and if you're shorting, it is not below 25 or something, because again risk reward is not favorable there. It is, though it is not like holy grail, stock may go above 80 RSI and remain above 80 RSI while stock keeps on moving. That is also a possibility, but again risk reward is not favorable in most of the stock. Plus, there is something called momentum, where you can see if the stock is in momentum. So usually the stocks which are having like 1 to 50 momentum score, that are better stocks to trade, right? So like in top 200 stocks, if it is in momentum, they are in good momentum stocks. So that is, again, these are additional parameters to help you assess whether those stocks are good stocks. So once you like want to execute some stock, let's say if Ashok Leyland crossed, or let's say Zydus Life crossed R1, and you open the chart, you check the open interest, everything looks good. Now I want to trade it, right, in my Dhan account. So how do I do that, right? So let's say I will just click on trade selected, and since like it is connected to my Dhan account, automatically my margin will be fetched and an equated portfolio is constructed here. So let's say I want to manage risk now. Why? Because see, intraday trading is more of like risk and money management and less on strategy. Because again, like whatever strategy you have, but if you have a poor risk to reward management and poor money management, you will eventually start losing money. Why? Because profits come in small amounts, but losses come in big numbers, right? So the more important thing is risk management. So you can manage even risks. So let's say you want to trade with your whatever margin is available in your Dhan account, and you want to risk only 1% of the capital, which is 594. So based on our different algorithms, it has calculated a most favorable stop loss price, taking care into all these support and resistance levels that we have discussed. So we have an internal algorithm where it uses and gives you a indicative support stop loss price. You can definitely change it whatever you want, and it will recalculate the quantity and you place. But remember, when the quantity will hit your stop loss, your loss will be maximum 594. So this is how you manage your risk for the day, right? The key thing in trading is not about stock selection also. If you will lose more than 594 every day, you will lose money eventually, right? So the key thing is like this should be, in the worst scenario, what is your loss will decide whether you are a winner in the long term, right? So if you are taking care of this risk, then eventually some strategies will have 60% accuracy, 70% accuracy, or 80% accuracy. Everything will make money. But if this is there, even 80% will give a big loss. One day you forget to stop, take 5 lots, let's say, trade of futures, and it goes against, and you're like, अब इतना गिर गया, अब क्या करें, square off करें, छोड़ देते हैं ऐसे, and keeps on increasing, and then eventually you have to square off, right? So the second part is execution is also very important. So you have to take care of execution. So here you can manage your risk and then place your account in your done. And since it is closed, it is not allowing me to place, but otherwise it will be executed in your account. So you can use this support and resistance scanner to find all the support resistance based on different filters. Again, it is a, like as I told you, it anything is not a substitute of chart. So it's just advisable to open that chart. So you can open that stock and you can see a chart and you can see the price action. You can see on what intraday scans it is happening, appearing, right? If that stock is like appearing in different scans also, like volume breakout is happening, volume profile is there. So for example, if you are here and let's say you apply some filter, okay, so let me load a saved filter. So it is not showing. So let's say I apply filter of the stocks which are above R1 and the volume is greater than, let's say, 100%. So again, this lot of people use this strategy, especially on intraday screener. So they wait for yesterday's volume to be crossed, whatever point of time. So they will just keep and wait, and they see only, trade only stocks whenever that 100% हो, यानी कल का जितना वॉल्यूम है उतना आज हो चुका है, यानी वो स्टॉक स्ट्रांग है, वॉल्यूम आ रहा है, एमर्ज हो रहा है, तभी अब मैं उसमें घुसूंगा. Some traders, some professional traders that I know of, they use this strategy. They wait for volume of yesterday to be crossed. जब क्रॉस हुआ तभी वो एंट्री करेंगे, सिंपल रूल. And they are very good. Why? Because they carry that big movement they capture, right? And let's say I want RSI which is greater than, obviously, let's say 40, right? Trending stock, movement is there, strength is there, right? And again, this OI is futures OI. So if you want to go for only long build up and not short covering stock, you can enter that value, but no, I will not enter. So you can get the list of stocks, right? But again, as a trader, you have to have the volume profile. That is very important. So you can simply click on chart view, and this will be converted into all those filtered stocks will have a chart view where you can actually see that volume profile immediately. So you can go and see, okay, this volume is emerging at breakout or not, or how is the volume profile? Is the volume dead when this breakout happens? So most probably without volume, the breakout don't go well, right? So these things, or is it like some reaction to sharp news like Zydus Life, maybe result news? Is it something like, so you can filter out those things by seeing chart immediately. All the charts will appear here, and you can have a view of chart view also along with the again the scanning conditions, right? And then you can trade stocks according to risk management and money management. So I hope you guys understood the support and resistance concept, and how to find out stocks, how to execute trades, and then how to monitor the trades. Okay. So I think that's it from my side. So let's go for question and answer session. You guys have any questions?
Thank you, Mohit. Yeah, if you have any questions, you can drop it in the chat box or the Q&A section box.
Okay, please show once again the scanner and how to find it. So you can go to IntradayScreener.com. So, and you can visit the app. So I will show you in another window. So you have to go to IntradayScreener.com/app. So this /app URL, you can even Google Intraday Screener, and here you have to click on Dhan, and you can log in with your Dhan account. And as you log in with your Dhan account, it will log in with your Dhan account, and then you can see your details in your profile section. That okay, this is my Dhan account details and everything, and even you can you can take trades, and you can find out stocks, and directly you can buy sell from here, and the trade through the Dhan API. Though Dhan has very good APIs which they have provided us, and with Intraday Screener collaboration, so you can directly execute these trades through here, from here to your Dhan account. So it will be executed in Dhan account. For example, here in the support and resistance where I explained that you can manage your risk, right? So it will be automatically through APIs, it is executed in your Dhan account. Okay. So what the type of pivot level is what type of pivot level is followed by most of the traders like Fibonacci, Standard, or Woody's? See, again, so that's what I'm saying, right? Rather than asking that question to me, why don't you plot these levels on the chart and see where maximum price action is happening in the stocks that you are trading? So as far as I am concerned, as I told you, most traders use standard pivot points, and that is the pivot point which is plotted everywhere. If you find support and resistance of any stock, you will see standard pivot points, and that is why it is most used, right? But again, you can come up with your own pivot point. If nobody uses it, it's of no use, right? So the thing is like, rather than asking me, it's simple: open the chart, plot that indicator level, and see whether price action is happening there or not. And that is how even we test it. We run back tested, we check whether price action is happening on those level or not. If it is not happening, then there's you have to see that whether candles, why 200 dma is respected, right? It is not that I have made 200 dma or you have made 200 dma. It is what all the traders are using, and all the traders or investors or fund houses are using to find buying price at good price, like 200 days average price. It's a moving average of 200-day prices, right? So it's acts as support level. So that is the way. So simple way is there. Don't ask me, open the chart, check whether price action is happening at that level. If it is happening, then obviously that is most used, right? And from my understanding, standard pivots are most used. Okay, so is it better to trade on time frames which are lesser than 5 minutes? So I don't think it is. So the lower the time frame you go, the more noise it becomes. Your stop losses will become more. So lower time frames are suitable for algos, but for human trading or discretionary trading, I think minimum you should go for 5 or 15 minute time frame, preferably 5 and 15 minute combination. As in, like, both should be confirmation should be on both time frame. Okay. So many calls coming. 1 second. Okay, we'll move to. I've been stop loss hunted many times in high liquid stocks while trading in trend reverses. So that's what I'm saying. So there are some days to avoid trading. Some of such environment is current environment where volatility is very very high, right? So you can have a rule of like market breadth. If you say market breadth is totally positive, as in like in intraday screener also you can check the market breadth, advances, declines. So this is a day for longs. When you say majority of stocks, more than 3 by 4 stocks are actually making longs, right? So those are the days where you go for buy stocks, and preferably in support and resistance, you have to go for stocks which are in sectors which are in current trade. For example, yesterday there were metals which was in good movement, right? So you can also check the sector charts, and you can you can prefer to trade in the top three sectors if it is a buying day as per the broader market index, right? And focus on those sectors even if you trade in intraday. So those are things that you will learn when you keep on trading, that sector support is very important, and that is what is being captured here in this momentum column as well. So you can see at the end of the point there is something called sector rank today, like what is the rank of that sectors of that stock today. So metal was trading on the third, and in the morning it was one. So it is advisable to trade in those stocks, right? So these stocks will give you actually like a good movement. Why? Because sector support is also there. So that is additional thing that you can have. Right. So how to select swing trading to use support? So that we can definitely cover in some other webinar, because that is totally different things that we are going to use in swing trading. There will come a concept of momentum that we can talk later. Can you show this on options trading? So again, see, support and resistance can be used for options trading, but options together trading is very different from trading in spot. I have talked about spot. Why? Because if you can trade in an environment where you can assume that the VIX will not change, volatility will not change much throughout that day, and expiry is not going to happen in next like 15 days, then you can take even in option. But if time decay comes into picture, let's say 2 or 3 days to expiry, or if the VIX is rising furiously, then you cannot use support and resistance in options trading. Why? Because though the price may move above the resistance, options price may not move. Why? Because theta decay may come into place. If your today's expiry and you see a resistance of 16,000 is broken, but you have bought 16,400 call or 16,500 call, and tomorrow is expiry, right? So even the price moves 100 points up, but your price of options will not move. Why? Because delta will increase it, theta will decrease it, right? So that is why options trading will have different effects while using support and resistance. You cannot exactly use for trading support and resistance using options, but if you make sure that VIX is not going to change too much and expiry is at least 15 days above, right? So why? Because I'm negating the delta component. I only focus, sorry, theta component. I am only focusing on delta component. So if you focus on only the delta component and you can say that, okay, VIX is not going to change drastically, then definitely you can use support and resistance, right? That is the whole point of trading. Finding direction is the main thing, right? And even directional trades of options, you can trade using it. Can you show this on option trading? So there's nothing to show. So let's say if you have found a price where if the stock price is going above R1, R1 is above 50. So you have to buy 50 call option. But as I told you, you have to buy if the expiry is like very nearby, right? Then you have to make sure that that time decay is not happening. Like in Nifty, you should not be using this very often if expiry is today or tomorrow, right? But even in Nifty, you can use on monthly if it is like 15 days is there. The whole point is you have to avoid the time decay thing. Only directional movement should account in your options pricing, right? That is taken care when you prefer any low VIX environment and where the time is more to expiry, correct? Commodity and currency. See, currency, it is highly applicable. The whole concept of pivot points emerge from currencies. So it is very, 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 and 100% works on currency, and you can evaluate it yourself on most of the forex charts. Most used indicator is pivot points, actually, right? It is from there only this whole technicals emerged of pivots, of pivot points actually using. Because the pivot point is nothing that is, it is just calculated using yesterday's open, high, low, close. It's a mathematical formula, right? But why is that important? Because people are using it. Why is God important? You follow it, right? Somebody follows some God, somebody follows some God. But again, I'm not going to that topic. But I mean, like, right? You believe it. So you do things for your belief. Traders trade on those levels, right? Why? Because they believe action is going to happen there. That is why movement comes. Correct. If I decide that I am going to sell at R1, all the collective traders decide in this world that whenever stock touches R1, we are going to sell. You will see that R1 will act as the strongest resistance point, right? Okay, next question is by Srinivas. Is MACD and ADX helpful in 5-15 minute time frame? So MACD, I may not say, I will not say why, because I mean, like, there's a lot of noise and it is a lagging also indicator. So it doesn't help that much. ADX helps definitely. If it is above 25 or 30, then it is good in maintaining the trend, and those are good trending stocks. So ADX you can, but again, take it with a pinch of salt as an additional indicators, right? So how much time does it take to update price on intraday screener? Once you log in with your Dhan account, so it will be updated by 1 minute, every 1 minute or 30 seconds. Okay, but you have to log in with your Dhan account for that. Okay, guys, any other questions?
There are some questions, Mohit, in the Q&A
Okay, in
section.
Q&A session. Sorry, I didn't see Q&A session.
So Rohit, sorry, first is G Radhakrishna. He asks, kindly tell me how to put OI.
Okay, see, open interest is like open interest, as you know, like, is the total open positions of futures. So in OI, if I have to filter the stocks where long buildup is happening, so I can simply say that OI change PCT is greater than let's say 1%, and OI. So here OI that we use in intraday screener is combined OI of all the futures contract to take into account only the futures OI. So here right now OI that you can see is only futures OI, which will help you in figuring out directional OI buildup, right? Options OI is altogether different in that you can see in option chain. So I will find out stocks, let's say, where long buildup is happening, right? So change percentage greater than 2 and OI is greater than 2, and you can see all the long buildup stocks. So in this long buildup stocks, if it is above R1, there also you can trade. So you can see wherever such movement happen, obviously there will be futures buying, and in options you will see a general trend will be there that there will be a call unwinding on the lower strikes, call shifting on the upward strike, and put writing on those important levels. So you can see in BHEL even 52, 53 lot of put writing has happened, and you can see how this is changing, right? And most call shifting happened to 55. So from like, I mean, like, if it is basic of options chain that what is support and resistance. So from here I can see it clearly that this is the level where I will not enter actually this trade. Why? Because highest open interest is there. But from here I can see how the call unwinding is happening at 50 levels, that this is probably going to be, people now are confident that 50 के ऊपर ही रहने वाला है most probably. So they are cutting their positions जो जिसने short किया था, right? And they may be shifting to some other positions, they may be shifting to this position. तो यहाँ पे the thing is, it's a confirmation from option chain that futures जो बता रहा है या जो volume बता रहा है या जो price movement बता रहा है वो रहने वाला है कि नहीं. So that is confirmed through the option chain. So you can use option chain for double confirmation, and it is very good confirmation for FNO stock. Unfortunately, it's only available for FNO stocks, so you can do it for FNO stocks.
Rohit
Kelly.
had asked, in Nifty and Bank Nifty, 100 and 200 DMA acts as SR level in 15 chart, also Ali chart mostly, as I
See,
observed.
definitely, Rohit. So you have very good observation. That's what I'm saying. So you have to learn by observing. So if I open Nifty and Bank Nifty daily, I see that, right? But a lot of traders, they don't see that. So the concept is simple. Confluence. You have to see what is actually the points where reversals are happening. What are those points, right? And are they being followed? 15-minute chart, 100 and 200 DMA is very well followed. Why? Because 200 DMA is considered as a trend changing. Below that, the lot of algo. See, everything is driven by algos, right now. Why 93% trades is happening through algos. So these 100 and 200 DMA are like benchmark for algos, basically, as in like that. Above that or below that, they will ignore those entry exit conditions. That is why usually those are respected. Those levels are acting as support or resistance, and there is a perfect entry also at those levels. Correct. Okay, guys. So why support? I think I've answered that. Kindly tell why Nifty, Back Nifty. Can I have any trading programs? You can contact Dhan for that. Can we put basket order for options from this site? So you can put cover order where stop loss is there. As soon as like basket orders will be available, we will definitely implement that also. So we are working along with Dhan to bring more features on this platform. So as soon as and when even the live prices and everything will be available on Dhan API, you will also get to see that on the platform. Okay, I think that's it. So I think we are right on time.
Just
Also.
to Sanjay and Mr. G. Radhakrishna, you asked for more training sessions and when will the next session be? So we conduct these webinars every Saturday, almost every Saturday. And we also do a lot of Twitter spaces. So we will keep you posted on when the next sessions will be. You'll be able to see it on all our social media channels. So thank you, Mohit, for such an insightful session. We look forward to more sessions with you. Also, for our audience, we have gone live with our Options Trader app. And if you're someone who trades in FNO, you should definitely try using that app. We recently released a part of it for our early access users, and we've received an overwhelmingly positive response. So I definitely recommend you to check it out. Also, if you're from Surat, we are organizing an offline event for the traders and investors on 4th of June. We will keep you posted for more details on our social media channels, and you can also check out our community page, which is community.dhan.co, for more such information. Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Thank you, everyone.